The title of this lesson is Health and Safety in the Workshop and Risk Assessments. First, you'll need to do the bell work and pause the video to answer the questions. I will now read all the questions for you. Question number 1, which type of timber is manufactured by us? Question number 2, what is 738 millimeters in centimeters? What is 348 centimeters in millimeters? What does the term PPE mean within engineering? Give an example of a PPE equipment you would use in the workshop. Question 6, should tools be used when a specialist teacher isn't available? Question 7, should machines be used unsupervised or with a non-specialist teacher? And question number 8, should tools be handled without the specialist teacher being present? Please pause the video and answer every single question in your workbooks. Okay, going through the answers. So the top one, manufactured timber is made by us. Manufactured boards would also be an appropriate answer. 738 millimeters in centimeters is 73.8 centimeters. 348 centimeters in millimeters is 3,480 millimeters. Don't forget to put the units down. What does the term PPE mean within engineering? Well, it's personal protective equipment, and we'll touch more upon this later. Give an example of a PPE equipment you would use in the workshop. Now, most likely you'd use either a dust mask, apron, ear defenders, or safety goggles. Should tools be used when a specialist teacher isn't available? Definitely not. Should machines be used unsupervised or with a non-specialist teacher? No. Should tools be handled without the specialist teacher being present? Also, no. So this is what you are currently making, and this is what we're aiming for your practical. So you have been asked to design and make a money box that will entice people to save money. Your money box must be made from timber and plastic and must contain a unique design on the side using guidelines. Now, what I want you to remember, even if you are watching this on the video, if you are watching this on YouTube at the moment, that the following rules applies every single time you're in the workshop. So our number one priority at Tone is to keep you safe. This is within the workshop, school grounds, and outside of school. When you are in the engineering room, you must follow these rules. So please write the following rules in your book using a red pen. You must not enter the classroom without a member of staff present. You must not eat or drink within the classroom. All coats and bags are either left on the hooks outside or placed on the back of your chair and bags under the desk. You must not touch or use any tools within the room without a specialist supervision. You must not enter a storeroom or back room. These are for staff only. You must listen to staff instructions. Failure to do so will result in a detention or a ban from practical. Pause the video and write these down in your workbooks, please. Okay, what I would like you to do is to write the following table into your workbooks. Can you also make note of the colours used for these as well? So for example, the top one is a prohibition sign. So if it's red and white, it prohibits you from doing something. So you must not do or you must not go. The next one is a mandatory one. So blue and white, specific instructions you must follow or carry out. So you must wear a hard hat, you must wear safety goggles. That is a mandatory sign that you'll see in blue and white. The warning sign, usually in yellow and black, is a warning of potential hazards and danger. So warning danger of electrocution, for example. Now, green and white, which is the safe conditions, gives information on safe conditions such as fire exits and first aid kit locations. This is why first aid kits are green and white. So please draw those symbols to the best of your ability in your book and fill that table in red, please. On top of that as well, there is a task. So give an example of a specific place you would see these signs. So it might be somewhere within school, somewhere outside school. Where have you seen these signs before? Pause the video and complete the task. Okay, red pens at the ready, please. PPE or personal protective equipment are equipment used to protect the user during practical work from different hazardous elements. So you've got hearing protection here or ear defenders must be worn. These are all mandatory signs that we've just spoken about. Safety goggles must be worn, safety goggles there. Apron must be worn, apron, and wear a dust mask. And there we have a dust mask as well. Pause the video and write down in red pen, please. Okay, I would like you to write the following definitions into your workbooks fully for me, please, using a red pen. So I'll give you the PPE name, then the definition. So ear defenders. Your hearing is sensitive and fragile. Wearing appropriate ear protection in loud environments known as ear defenders can reduce the chances of hearing damage, such as tinnitus. Safety goggles. Safety goggles form a protective seal around the eyes and prevent objects or liquid from entering under or around the goggles. These must be used on every machine. Apron. An apron is used to protect your clothing and yourself from different substances. The apron also ensures that any loose clothing is tucked away when you're working on a machine. And finally, we have dust mask. The main purpose of a dust mask is to protect the wearer of respiratory illnesses. Dust masks are most often used at work in hazardous environments where there is a risk of inhaling dangerous substances such as fine dust. Now, we spoke about this in the manufactured boards, things like MDF, yeah, medium density fiberboard that has very fine sawdust particles that can go into your lungs and cause serious damage. Please pause the video and write the following using a red pen. So now we are going to write our own risk assessment, but before we do so, we need to understand what risk assessments are. So, according to the law, employers must ensure the safety of their workforce. One way of doing this is for the employer to assess the risks involved in the various jobs and processes carried out by their workers. For example, a worker may operate a drilling machine to drill holes in a sheet steel. The employer must assess the risks to health and safety at every stage of operation. Appropriate precautions are then introduced to protect the employee from harm and injury. Two of the main aspects of carrying out a risk assessment is to identify the hazard. These are activities that are potentially dangerous. Once a hazard has been identified, the risk or possibility of an employee being harmed by the hazard is quantified. This is usually recorded as low risk, medium risk, and high risk. Then you add the control measure, which prevents the hazard or minimizes the risk level. So you can see on the right hand side here, here is a person using a pillar drill. So the hazard is possibly a possibility of a sharp, extremely hot steel swath flying at high speed in the direction of the operator. The level of risk on this is medium level due to the physical properties of sheet steel. However, there are some control measures that you can put in place to stop this from happening or to minimize any damage. So you can fit the guard, that's the plastic part that's around the pillar drill. Ensure guard is in position. Goggles are supplied, so safety goggles on. Foot stop for any emergency. Staff training, student training, so that drilling is controlled correctly by the operator and the risks are understood. Appropriate protective clothing provided, such as a technician's coat, lab coat, or even just an apron. So just remember, this is how we make a risk assessment. So the hazard is what could go wrong. So a hazard isn't something as simple as wearing a tie. Wearing a tie isn't a hazard. However, wearing a tie and having loose clothing on a machine, that can be a hazard because it can go into the machine and pull you in with it. The risk level is the risk level harm low, medium, or high. The final one, which is the control measure or control measures, can be done. What can be done to improve the safety of that person on the machine? Please write the following into your books and pause the video. Okay, the final task within this lesson is for you to write your own risk assessment table. So study the buffing machine or polishing machine. It's also known, seen opposite. Identify all hazards. In your opinion, what is the level of risk for each of the hazards? What could the control measure be for each hazard and risk? Complete a risk assessment table for the buffing or polishing machine. So on the left-hand side, you've got hazard. So let's do A together. So I'm looking at this person on the polishing machine. I could see this person isn't wearing an apron. He is wearing a tie, which could easily be caught in the machine. So the hazard is danger of loose clothing or tie being tangled into the machine. Risk level, I would most likely put this at either medium or high. And then the control measure would be wear an apron to ensure that the loose tie is tucked away. That's what I would like you to do now, please, for A, B, C, D, E, and F. Please pause the video and use this image to aid you.